Enterprise. Its 5-year mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilization, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the landing party. I'm your host, Graham Nolan, and it is Stardate 2504.16, and we're discussing episode 48, The Immunity Syndrome, written by Robert Sabaroff and directed by Joseph Pevney. At this point in the season, Star Trek was out of guest star money, but they still had some special effects budget left. That meant writer Robert Sabaroff had to come up with a bottle episode using only the cast members. Sabaroff's high-concept idea that the ultimate function and historical purpose of man's evolution were to function as antibodies in the universe didn't quite make it into the final shooting script. NBC wasn't going for that. The effect of the space amoeba was something never before seen on television at that time, and it came out amazing. The effect was created by combining colored oils and mixing them with water, pressing them together between glass slides and photographing them with a microscopic lens. Since oil and water don't mix, their separation also facilitated movement. Well, they would also move the glass slides to get different kinds of movement and like pulsations and stuff. Worked out really great. This is the last episode. We see Kirk's green casual tunic, the wraparound, or the midriff tuck, if you will. George Takei is still missing due to rain in Georgia, pushing the shooting schedule back on the Green Berets. Probably his worst decision yet. This is the 14th and final episode to be directed by Joseph Pevney. He felt that the loss of Gene L. Kuhn was sending the series in a direction he didn't much care for. This is the first episode that bears the Paramount logo instead of Desilu. And although the name was cut from the final draft, the captain of the Intrepid was named Satak. So write that down. There'll be a quiz later. John Winston, Lieutenant Kyle, or as pronounced by Shatner in this episode, Cowell. I'm not sure if he was supposed to be a different character or not, but you'd think they would give him a name that didn't even sound alike. That was weird. He trades in his red shirt and transporter duties for a command gold shirt and pilot duties on the bridge. The scene where Spock feels the death of the Intrepid crew was certainly homaged by George Lucas in the first Star Wars film when Obi-Wan Kenobi senses the destruction of the planet Alderaan. Okay, gang, that is your captain's log for today. Let's bring in the crew. That Star Trek girl, Anna, is here. Hello. And a boundary layer, Aaron Lepresti.
Boundary between what? Between
I don't know. It doesn't say.
And where we are. Are you trying to be funny? Let me tell you something. I love this episode because it reinforces my theory, and I brought this up earlier back in season 1, that they are two different characters. There's Cowell and Kyle. Kyle is a red shirt engineer. Cowell works but it's the same actor, right? So they changed his hair and then they used the same actor because, like you said, no budget for guest stars, right? Now that's
why wouldn't they call him Miller or Johnson?
I don't know, because
maybe they're twins.
Cowell and Kyle. But I am convinced that they are supposed to be two separate characters, and they just use the same actor to cover both of them.
Well, you know what? That's a solid theory, and I'm going with it too. Because otherwise, you would think that an experienced director like Pevney would have said, hey, Bill, it's Kyle,
Yeah.
not Cal.
So, and we've seen Kyle on several occasions only in the transporter room, right? And then, in fact, he was in the first season because wasn't he the guy who got the security guard they beamed up from the 1960s episode? Tomorrow or
yesterday.
Yeah, we wanted the chicken soup or whatever.
Yeah,
that was Kyle that gave it to him, and of course, your agonizer, please, Mr. Kyle. And now suddenly in a yellow shirt, Mr. Cowell. So I am totally convinced that we're talking two different characters here, Graham. I'm just
what do you think about that, Anna? Two different characters?
I think they're twins.
That doesn't make sense. Oh, okay. I say, but that's their last name, not their first name.
Twins would have the same last name.
Yeah, but they're not saying the same name. One is Kyle.
Well, how do you know it's their last name?
Well, because he doesn't say.
He says Spock. He doesn't say.
Well, that's the only one.
Says
Everybody
Bone.
else is Scotty because he's Montgomery Scott. He's Sulu, Irakai Sulu.
Well, maybe he's special, so he calls them by their individual names because they're. No, that would actually make more sense.
Are you writing your own history here?
I am. Yes.
Star Trek by the Star Trek girl. All right, I'm gonna say it. I love this freaking episode. Love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's
some really great stuff in it.
It has all the elements that I want. I mean, to me, this is right there with the Doomsday Machine. It's the same type of episode. You've got all this calamity and potential disaster all piles up at the end. Are they gonna get out of the membrane in time? Oh, there's Spock's. Is Spock still alive or is he dead? Put a tractor beam on him. Do they have enough power? And then that great line that Scotty says, sets up Kirk to say when he's like, our power levels are dead. And he's like, you may have just written our epitaph,
Yeah, that was a good line. That was a good line. And I think everybody played it well too, with being tired and not sharp because their life energies were being sucked out.
Yep.
That was kind of cool.
Uhura was swooning all over the place.
I like the bookends too. It starts off with they're headed to Starbase, blah blah, for much needed rest and relaxation, and then Kirk says something like time for rest and relaxation on a nice quiet planet, and he's looking at some sexy
he's checking out
girl.
the babe.
And then the shit starts, and then at the end when they defeat it. The same thing happens, and he says the same thing, and then there's another girl there. You know? So we know what's on old Jimmy's mind.
Yeah, he needs some R&R for sure. What do you think about that, Anna?
I am the opposite of you. I always skip this episode.
You don't like this episode?
It's so boring. Here's my thing. I've noticed this about myself. There has to be a person as the bad guy. Or like the thing that they have to defeat, or an overarching idea or something, like a complete society. But when it's just like this alien blob thing that can't really fight back or do anything, I'm just like,
wait a second. What do you mean it can't do anything? It's about to multiply.
I know, but it's not like it's this evil entity. It's just like it's just existing. It's not trying to hurt everyone. That's just part of its function. Honestly, I think Next Gen does this better because they have subplots. So there's, the main plot, which is like, oh, there's some kind of like lifeless monster alien we're trying to figure out. And then there's other things going on. So there was kind of that, but I don't know. I tried rewatching it 3 times for this show, and every time I fell asleep.
Well, wait a second. You just told me you weren't getting any sleep.
That was today. That was today.
Now you know how to get sleep, right? Just watch this episode. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a prime example of the difference between men and women. Right here, you're seeing it right here.
Well, you know what? After your captain's log, where you're explaining they don't have any more money for guest stars, I'm like, okay, I can actually be more forgiving about this episode, so I'll give it a higher score because it is good. Like when the first time you watch it, it's really intriguing, and then you find out what the big bad is, and it's like, oh, it's like, oh, is Spock gonna die? No. So it's like,
of course not, but you got to suspend disbelief a little bit and kind of go with it.
I know, but then it just ends, and there's, it's like, oh, we just destroyed this thing. Black screen.
What do you think about the petulance, or rather, the pettiness of Bones in this one? Where he says to Spock, you're not going to allow me to what does he say, partake in this or something like that.
You're going to let me share in this, are you?
Share in this, yeah, that's it. As if Spock is petty, Spock is not, and it's not an emotional thing, it's he's the best one to handle it physically, and he says, well, why not, use one of your superstitions and wish me luck, and he won't do it. And it's a great scene where Spock just kind of just is like resigned to it, like typical human. And then he walks to the.
It didn't seem like Bones.
What's that?
It didn't seem like him. Like I feel like the fighting with Spock and like the bickering is really common, but like I don't know why. Like McCoy would be the one that's like, "This is stupid. Like don't go. It's like a death mission."
Right.
Like that would be his usual response.
Well, they set up the competition between the two of them. Like they both had a death wish to go inside this cell.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. Funny.
But he did wish him luck. He did.
No, if they had I feel like this was written when they were expecting to have a guest star, because that seemed more like that would be somebody else, not McCoy.
Well, actually, this was written when they thought it was being canceled, and then they got the news. And then they had to scramble because they had a week to turn in something, and they weren't prepared because they thought they were being canceled. And so, they had to throw this thing together. They had these scripts that were sitting there ready to be developed, but then they had to develop this stuff fast. This week's and last week's, were there at the same time, and then the directors chose the one that they were going to do. So last week's was the one that actually got made first. But
what do you guys think about this? And I know you're kind of big on this, so I'll get your reaction. Okay. I felt like every major character had a part in this episode. Scotty was a major player in it. Even Chekhov had a decent amount of Uhura was involved throughout the whole thing. Spock and McCoy, of course. Mm-hmm. So I felt like even our good friend, Mr. Cowell, I just thought that they spread the wealth around in this episode pretty well.
Yeah. One of the things that bothered me in this was like when there's that first lurch where all of a sudden they didn't know what happened, and people were on the bridge where they're sort of fainting and everything, and then Kirk's buzzer rings and McCoy says, Jim, what just happened? I've got people dropping like flies here and everything. And he says, can you handle it all? But then they cut to Bones, and he's sitting there at his desk, and there's people lined up out the door. It just happened. People couldn't. I mean, maybe they're picking up people off the floor off a sick bay, but it just happened. And they've got a line out the door. It's like,
there's only one doctor on the ship. They got to get there.
Well, maybe
they want to be the first one there to get the shot.
Some of them,
That's efficiency. That's an efficient crew right there, Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look at it like they're looking to get away from their work. They're running for that sick pass.
Oh, I don't feel good.
Good. Oh, I can't go to work. Boom! Run down to Bones' office.
Get a shot.
I need a little zip here.
I did that once and I felt bad about it, but it was one of those times where I was in college and I was working on Black Friday and all my family was over for Thanksgiving. So it's like I wanted to go home and see them. And some super morbidly obese lady ran over like my feet with her stroller and then herself. And I was like, oh no, I can't walk. And I went home, which was nice because I got to be with my family. And my feet did hurt, to be fair, but I've only done that once, and it was for a good reason.
You
Them,
see, you would have fit right in on the Enterprise then.
Exactly.
no.
First
They were
in
trying to
line
get
to
out
get
of
a shot.
mundane tasks. I was trying to go for a holiday.
Well, they were trying to get some R&R. See, they were overdue for R&R, so they didn't want to work. And can you blame them?
I thought maybe, you know, the selection process in Starfleet was a little more stringent, you know.
They're taking whoever they could get.
That's right.
You know what's funny is like when they were, I guess, no money for like guest stars or anything, they wouldn't have that problem today. People would be lining up to get like getting into that medical bay just to go onto the show.
Like you know, Batman, you know, climbing up the wall, and the celebrities were lining up to pop out, you know.
I'll guest star on Star Trek.
Did you ever see that meme of the from City on the Edge of Forever, the time portal?
Anna's favorite episode.
Yeah, and it's Kirk and Spock are looking at the portal as if, you know, before they jump through it, and jumping out of it is Adam West and Burt Ward. They're leaping out of the smoke and everything. Kirk and Spock.
Now that would have been an episode right there.
Yes, it would.
The only thing that bothers me is in this episode is the lack of urgency at times when they're just, we got an hour and 15 minutes, you know, and they're like, Kirk goes back to his cabin to contemplate who he's going to send. Dude, you got an hour and 45 minutes. You better make that decision right now and get him out of here. Because if you remember, when they were in the lab, Kirk said something like to Bones, he goes, we don't have, you know, we don't have time. We have exactly 1 hour and 45 minutes. And then when he is in his cabin and he calls him in to give him the bad news or the good news, however you want to look at it, I think Scotty chimes in and goes, you know, tells him we've got an hour and 15 minutes left. I'm like, did he just waste 30 minutes sitting in his cabin trying to figure out who he was going to send?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
And I like, you know, if they don't defeat this thing, like you said, in 30 minutes, everything's going to be dead. And so he says to McCoy, he says, well, you better give me another one. Are you sure? I mean, this stuff is pretty heavy stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It's like he's giving him heroin or something. It's like, dude, if you don't get me juiced up here, it won't matter. You know.
Well, it's like in the Deadly Years when he's like, you know, give me the shot, and they're like, we can't trust it on you, Jim. We got to try it out. He goes, we're gonna be dead. He goes, I'll be dead anyway. Give me the freaking shot.
Yeah, that made sense.
Yeah. So I mean, that was the only thing
on the bridge.
Yeah, the casual pace that they were moving at, getting into that shuttlecraft and getting out in there. I was like, dude, you guys don't have time. I would be pick it up, guys.
We're on the clock here, people.
Yeah. But I didn't mind I thought there was a lot of good exchanges between Spock and McCoy in this episode. I mean, from the very beginning when he had him in sick bay, and he's like, but 400 Vulcans. Then he says, you talk about the objective hardness of the Vulcan heart and how little room there is in yours, kind of thing. And getting back to what Anna said at the beginning, or you guys were talking about, when he goes in the shuttlecraft, Spock, McCoy does wish him good luck, but he doesn't give him the satisfaction of telling it so he can hear him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, McCoy was kind of an a-hole in this episode, but I mean, it, you know.
Did you notice inside the shuttle itself, there was that computer system there that Spock stood up and was adjusting?
Yeah.
That was the same computer that they used in the one where the planets have the 200-year war and they're shooting.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did you also notice in this episode that inside the shuttlecraft, right, there's that computer against the wall. There's that little kind of screen that separated, like there was a back room to it or something. There was like you know, it had a doorway in it, but there was like a screen.
Oh yeah. Instead of like all the extra seats like they had
Right.
in
Yeah. Like in Galileo 7, there was nothing there except seats. And then now
There's
it's
different
like,
types of shuttles now.
well, did they have more than one shuttle? I guess they probably would have, right? On the Enterprise.
Yeah, of course they would.
Well, yeah. Well, they had the
Look at her. Of course they would, you idiot.
Who makes a spaceship with only one shuttlecraft, especially one that big with that many people?
They used to have in the enhanced versions that they would show you the 2 shuttlecraft sitting in the bay there, but the one was destroyed in the Doomsday Machine.
They got a new one since then.
Oh, that's right, because he rammed it down her throat.
Yeah. It wasn't the Galileo. It was I forget what the name of it was, but so now you don't see the 2 on the platform.
I forgot. That's right. Now, do you guys, after having watched this episode again, and hopefully Anna stayed awake during this part, but when you see the germ, don't tell me that doesn't look like a fish.
It does.
Thank you.
It does. Well, once you said it, now all I see is a fish.
Exactly. And and then I think of goldfish crackers, even though they're not that colorful, or maybe so this episode always makes me hungry is what I'm getting at. Because I see that and I'm like, oh, a gummy
episode makes you hungry.
Yeah, gummy fish maybe, or something like that. So I'm just throwing it out there.
All right. Hey, Russell Hall, thank you for $5. Who's the genius that discovered the most annoying sound in the universe, then decided to spam it in this forking episode? Which sound is he referring to? Is it the
boundary layer sound when the and everybody's like,
oh yeah, it's like a high pitch thing. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, that is rough.
But
$2, Gates McFadden has a subplot for you.
Oh my God, Russell, stop!
I don't. Do you?
You don't want to know.
I love how Anna always knows what Russell's talking about, and we're all like, "What's that mean?" And she's like,
"Watch Jack's show sometime. You'll learn a lot about Russell."
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable. So, speaking of the sound, I thought it was a nice. I mean, yeah, it was an annoying sound, but it was a nice touch that they could have just kind of skipped it, you know. But they added that to it because it would make sense, right? If you're passing through a boundary layer of some sort of energy or something, that you're getting this like you'd get that friction sound. Yeah, and that was the other thing I wanted to ask you, because you were infuriated by, was it the second new Star Trek movie where they took the spaceship underwater, the Enterprise underwater?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how do you feel this thing operating in protoplasm, where they go inside the cell?
Right.
They're able to back their way out with the.
They're still in a zero gravity atmosphere, though. There's no gravity.
Okay.
So, so there's not like the weight of water on top of pressure on the ship.
Okay.
Which would crush those nacelles, and this is why they built the Enterprise in space. But in those stupid J.J. Abrams movies, they show you it in Iowa on a platform getting built. You know how hard it is just to get to that optimum speed to break through gravity to get a rocket into space?
No, because J.J. Abrams is an idiot. He doesn't know anything about Star Trek, let alone Star Wars. Like, he forgot about Kirk's older brother. It's like, just because his dad died, his brother was born before him.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that too. That's right.
Yeah.
Everything in those movies is so stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
he tries to hide it all by saying it's the Kelvin universe and everything that happened, would changed, because of the Romulan ship coming through.
Yeah, but that doesn't change everything that came before that ship came through.
That's right. See, she's on it, man. That's right.
Yeah, no, I have an answer to all of his BS. Well, you guys remember when he put like his son in charge of Spider-Man? It's like, oh yeah, that kid's got a lot of experience writing for Spider-Man, right?
Whoa, back up. No, I did not know this. Well, J.J. Abrams was writing, son was writing Spider-Man?
He put his son in charge of Spider-Man at Marvel.
Really?
Of the actual comic book?
Yes.
Well, how does he have any power with the publishing? at Marvel?
I have no idea, but you guys don't remember this was like big news and everyone was pissed because it's like your like 20-year-old son now is in charge of Spider-Man.
Who was the son? Do you know?
Something Abrams here. I'll find this.
Yeah, find that. I gotta find out.
It shows you, like, when we dropped out of mainstream comics, it's like how little we pay attention to what's going on there anymore, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So was he writing it, Anna, or was he the editor of it?
Let's see. Henry Abrams and they switched it. So I watched a video on it where it's like him and his son, and he's announcing that his son is going to be in charge of Spider-Man. It got reduced down just to a Spider-Man comic. So he did it with some girl named Sarah Pichelli.
As editors?
I think he wrote it.
Oh, they wrote it. Okay.
Here. There's a Reddit link. I guess it's Spider-Man Bloodline.
Okay. He wasn't in charge. They gave him to write an episode. Okay.
Okay. Well, I remember there was a video, big announcement. They must have changed it. I'll see if I can like hunt down that video. It might be on the interwebs. But I found an article. What went wrong with J.J. Abrams' son's Spider-Man?
What went wrong? Where do we begin?
Spider-Man as his father knew about Star Trek.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it was like when they let Damon Lindelof, or whatever his name was, J.J. Abrams, write that Hulk thing, and I don't think he ever finished it. It was a Hulk versus Wolverine miniseries, and he did like an issue or two. I don't think he ever finished it. Wow. And that guy's a hack too.
Oh yeah. Whenever he touches a project, it goes astray.
It's amazing how, I mean, we saw the same thing in comics for 30 years, how these guys would get in positions of power by doing crap. And it's like, how in the world do you continually get work when everything you do sucks?
You know someone, that's how.
Yeah, exactly.
It's falling upwards.
Yep, it's amazing.
They defy gravity.
Mm-hmm. Hey, now speaking of the ship, so if the starship would, with your whole, your gravity theory and all that kind of stuff, so when they entered wouldn't they be in trouble in the Earth's atmosphere, like in the Tomorrow is Yesterday episode, where they're actually inside the atmosphere up in the clouds and the fighter pilot sees them? Wouldn't that?
They're in the troposphere, that edge of space, which is pretty much where like that Blue Horizon flew up to. They don't actually go to space. They go up to I think the top of the troposphere or something like that. So there would probably be some friction, up there that the Enterprise would encounter.
Good thing they got their shields.
Yeah, but they got the shields and stuff. I used to like when in the old episode before they put the new effects in, they would show the Enterprise as if it was like a broken down jalopy,
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's like stuttering through the sky. Yeah.
I remember that. Come on, get that engine to kick in, man.
Somebody hit it with a wrench, Scotty.
Yeah, we need you guys to go out and push to get it going, and then
pop it in the hamster gear. Wheel going.
Here, I'm gonna pull up the video that shows like the different effects. Oh, hey, we're the third. When you type in the immunity syndrome on YouTube, we're the third thing that pops up.
Oh, nice.
Hey, get a little extra action.
We got dinged last week for showing those that video.
Oh, really? Without the sound?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, then I won't share it then.
Somehow they.
Well, all you do is lose your ad revenue.
Probably have AI looking at it, and it doesn't take AI that long to figure out images and stuff.
Did you appeal it?
No.
Well, it didn't shut you down, right? It just turned off your ad revenue.
Correct.
If you appeal it, you just put that you're adding commentary.
Yeah, I have to do that a lot for 31 Days of Monsters. In fact, almost every episode I have to contend it.
Oh, no.
About to go.
I show trailers and
about to go off the freeway here, but you guys, especially Anna, you've been doing this for a long time. So how do these people that like show movie clips and stuff like that get away with it? And yet we do it and we get shut down.
It depends on the company. Star Trek is extremely strict. Like Paramount, they're Nazis about showing any type of content. The best one is Disney. Disney won't strike you at all.
Really?
Yeah, no, Disney's the best at it. And if you appeal, if they do for whatever reason strike you, let's say you just play the entire trailer and the audio isn't, different enough, all you have to do is appeal it and they approve it immediately.
Yeah.
Paramount is awful, Fox is awful.
Warner Brothers is tough also. They'll ding you if you show any trailers or theirs. But a lot of times if you appeal it, they'll reverse it, Because basically you're giving them free advertising. If you're showing the trailer, that's what they want to see. So you're signal boosting it because you've got an audience for your show and you're signal boosting it by showing their doggone trailer,
Yeah. Well, yeah, but there's shows that are like review shows and things like that. I mean, can you get set up so that you don't have to worry about that crap? Or
different YouTube. So like for YouTube channels that are bigger, like you can have a community manager. Like I pissed off mine a few years ago. So I haven't spoken to him in a long time, but because he was useless, to be fair. He was like some 20-year-old kid that had no idea what he was doing. And he's like, why don't you try this feature? And I'm like, I've been doing this for a long time, guy, dude. But
so they have this what do you call it? A community what?
It's a community manager. And so if like you say like you're getting struck because you're showing content, they have like a direct line at YouTube to fix it for you immediately. So some people have that if they're bigger channels. Like you'll see, big channels with millions of subscribers. If they are getting dinged, it's taken care of almost immediately. Whereas like smaller creators, not so much.
I see. So then these guys are you pay for this service then I assume?
No. YouTube provides it for you if you have enough traction.
I gotcha. Okay. All right. See, you learn something new every day when
YouTube provided that guy for you.
He assigned him to me, and
so in a way, he was kind of like your drill thrall, and it just did not work out. You were like Chekhov, and he was like the ugly yellow girl.
Chekhov.
Oh my God. No, he was okay. Here's a good analogy. It was like my drill sergeant was one of the kids from the Children Shall Lead episode.
Oh, that's even worse.
That's how useless this dude was.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Wow. And like everything that I said, I was like, okay, because he's like, well, give me a list of things that like you need fixed. And I was like, here's a list. And he's like, how about you try to promote memberships more? And I'm like, that doesn't fix these things.
This is great, but why don't you?
I know.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that gives you some insight though that I didn't understand, and now I feel more educated. Thank you.
Well, you want to know how you get through? Like, if you get flagged, just respond to them saying, "I identify as a woman, and I'm providing commentary, as a woman. Please remove this," and they will almost instantly.
Well, Aaron, you need to approach it from that angle.
Do I need to like put on a wig first and
no, they don't check it. They just see that like you're an angry woman.
I'm an angry woman and I want this fixed now.
Yeah, and there's lots of exclamation points.
Yeah.
Hey, it's stupid, but it freaking works, man.
I believe it. That's a sad commentary is that it does work. I remember that. I'll have to identify as what if I identified as a handicapped Black woman? Would that even be faster?
Yeah, but you run the risk of them watching your content.
John Durham says Critical Drinker can show clips while a movie is still in the theaters.
Critical Drinker has like 2+ million subscribers.
Wow.
So they basically let him do whatever he wants. Because of the ad revenue?
Well, also some of
different rules.
Well, some of the clips that he uses is from the trailers. So it's already out. I don't know if he uses, like bootleg stuff. I don't think I've ever seen a video where he's used bootleg stuff.
Would they preempt? Would you preemptively take care of it before it gets struck? Meaning, like I edit a video together. Let's keep it on track here. Let's say we're doing a review of Star Trek 2. Right. And I do a special on Star Trek 2 and I get the video all cut together. Then would I go to my handler and say, hey, clear the path here so when I put this up, it doesn't get dinged, or do you have to do it after the fact?
You have to wait for it to flag you.
Okay.
Because you never know what their bots will do. So you upload it and then it'll, you wait a minute and either it gets it automatically or it takes a little bit of time.
Okay.
This is so much fun back end YouTube stuff, huh?
Well, no, it's interesting to people in the chat are like, but it's interesting to me because I was just, it driving me crazy. I could not figure out how these people are getting away with this.
In case it hadn't occurred to anybody in the chat, Aaron and I are sort of Luddites when it comes to this whole new frontier of YouTube
advertising.
Right.
All of that. I mean,
we're the red shirts. We were getting.
I worked in advertising, but that's different than this kind of stuff.
Yes, exactly. So
very different. But thankfully, we have young people like Anna that can set the old men straight.
I'll teach you what I can.
So, yeah. I was thinking about these, because we got in this discussion a little bit last week with Ron, where he was finally figured out why I liked certain episodes and why I didn't like other ones. He finally was understanding my philosophy. Mm-hmm. But there's really like two ways to approach any story, right? It's like there's pure entertainment value, right? Which you don't care how deep it is, but because the entertainment value is so high, like Fast and Furious or something like that, right? That people like it and they don't care that there's nothing really important going on because it moves, there's action, there's excitement, and that's enough for them. And then there's this stuff where you've got great character development and all this stuff that really makes it a much deeper and fulfilling viewing enjoyment moment. What am I trying to say? But on Star Trek, for me, I am looking for, and this is the kid in me, because I already know the characters, right? The characters have been built up at this point. And so if there's not like any sort of deep moral character value to the episode, if it moves and there's like a cool monster in it and there's some action and things like that, and you're on the edge of your seat and those are the kind of episodes that really do it for me, because I on a very superficial level, I really get into them and enjoy them. But I can see where you guys, like Metamorphosis bores the crap out of me. You guys really like it because you like the character part of it and, the moral implications and all this kind of stuff that runs deeper in the episode too. And I'm just sitting there going,
wait.
Where's
what
the fight?
Romance? All of a sudden she just goes into a woman and then they're like, we're in love now.
No, the creature loved.
I know the creature loved him, but it didn't even occur to him like, oh, I'm in love with this blob.
Well, yeah, because he didn't understand that it was female, first off, and secondly that
because a dude's gonna do that for another dude for that long.
I don't know what world you live in, but have you not been reading?
Oh yeah. Oh, could you imagine if it went into like Kirk or something instead of the chick?
Yeah.
Like, I'm in love with you. Stay on this planet with me.
Well, hey, he did it with a robot. It only took him about 20 minutes in that one episode, Kirk.
So. Well, also, I mean, a woman went into Kirk in the last episode.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'd talk about that. When you start talking about the worst episodes and the ones that I just like do not even want to watch, that is right up there with Kirk behaving like a woman to the guy that is her. Oh, we can get into this, I guess, at the next season.
Wasn't that episode like it was meant to make you hate that?
I did. I was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's so funny.
What sucks is it is the last episode. It's like that last bite of something and it's rancid. And everything you enjoyed it up till then. And then you get to that last bite and like, oh.
It just ruins the whole thing for you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like the final episode of Seinfeld. You're like,
the final episode of Seinfeld is just a flashback episode of everything that's happened.
No, the final episode is them getting arrested. They end up in jail, and because they didn't do their civic duty when somebody got hit by a car. I forget what.
No, he was getting mugged, and they were laughing at him and mocking the guy when he was getting mugged.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. But it just kind of like put this really terrible spin on the characters, which was sort of antithetical to. They're always self-absorbed in their own little worlds, yes,
but they were likable.
They weren't heartless and
Right.
terrible people. And that episode just shows that that they were terrible people.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I didn't really like Seinfeld.
You what?
I didn't really like Seinfeld.
Oh my gosh.
Well, okay,
well,
I didn't watch
born when Seinfeld was on.
I know I wasn't.
true.
No, I
That's
only
true.
watched Seinfeld like all through like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like, it's not that funny. Like, what's his face is the best character, Jason Alexander.
Oh, you liked him the best?
Yeah,
I like Kramer. Kramer's my favorite.
I don't know. Kramer was weird. I don't know. He was the only funny one to me. Because he's so awful and he knows that he's awful and he is like so unapologetically awful. Like my favorite episode was the day where he's like, I'm going to do the exact opposite of what my instincts tell me to do.
Right. Yeah. And he gets the girls.
Was the best
and all
one.
that. Yeah. His dad, played by Jerry Stiller, I thought, oh God.
Oh, yeah.
You want a piece of me? You want a piece of me?
George. Yes. I don't know why I couldn't think of George's name yet. George Costanza is the best character.
I thought Elaine was pretty funny too.
Elaine was great. Oh, that dance of hers.
Oh my God.
Hey, dance is better than I do, and I had to be in dance for 12 years. So
I'm a good dancer, right? Right? You stink.
You stink. Oh my goodness. You've got a super chat there, Graham.
Oh no. Is it from
No,
Russell?
it's not from Russell.
It is not. It's from John Drinks Woodford, and I approve, John. $1.99. Thank you, Graham. What's your most valuable comic? Show and tell. Well, I can't show and tell because they're packed away, but it's either Hulk #1 or Fantastic Four #1. I'm not sure which one.
It depends on the condition, Graham.
Yeah.
I'll come over someday and grade your books for you and get them slabbed for you as a present.
I'm going to take a picture of you in my thing chair.
That sounded so wrong.
Hey, do you have the first issue of Star Trek: The Gold Key series?
I do. It's
you
the
do?
one I had from a kid. It's beat to shit.
Yeah,
it's got tape all over
book. Yeah, that's an expensive book.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, not the one I got. It's beat up.
No,
you know what's sad is the most valuable comic I have is that that Batman comic where he's naked.
Oh my gosh!
Because they censored it.
Yeah. You have the censored or uncensored version?
I have the uncensored one. I have like the first, like right when it came out. I was like, let me get this and see how bad it is. They have Batman in the fetal position, naked, crying in front of his suit, and I'm like, bro.
Yeah, I remember that shot. Yeah, it's sort of like a shadow peen.
Yeah, big old.
No, that's a different one. Like that's him walking in, and then he's like literally, like huddled up in the floor, crying, all naked, and it's like a side view of him.
Who wrote that? Batman doesn't cry.
I know, it's so stupid. I was like, this is gay.
Who wrote that?
Some Italian guy.
Really?
I think. Let me see. Batman Dan.
See, we should have covered that last night on Professionals, Graham.
Yeah.
Some Italian guy ruining our American.
Well, maybe that'll be our next episode. Our favorite Batman comics in which his penis is out.
The only one. The author was Brian Azzarello.
Oh, Azzarello. Brian
Azzarello.
Yeah.
100 Bullets. How about that?
Yeah, he's a good writer. He is a good writer, but I mean,
bad choice there.
Well, the art, in my opinion, is terrible. Or they should have just gotten a different colorist, or just made it black and white. Because it's like,
wasn't that the one that was painted by what's his face? Who's the artist?
Let me go back and look.
We just had it.
Let's see, artist. It doesn't say.
He cried
when he got a letter from his father.
His father walked out of the cornfield and wanted to play catch with him.
Lee.
Yeah, Lee Bermejo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Would you ever read a letter from your dad when you were naked?
No.
I would never read a letter from my dad while I was naked, or my mom for that matter. So
I don't think my parents have ever written me a letter.
Well, again, it's and us older folks have letters, but in fact, I don't remember ever reading a letter from anyone naked.
Maybe you're
take my clothes off before I read this letter.
I've read a few letters from the IRS naked,
Aw.
I had a lot to say to them.
Oh my gosh. Well, do you guys remember like many months ago I posted how much my insurance went up by, like 11 grand
Oh, I
remember
remember
you
you.
told
for
us
my
about
car
that.
insurance?
Yeah.
Well, I said, F this. I was able to find like the cheapest one ever from Geico. So it's only $55 a month now, which is good. But get this. I paid for my car registration back in October. They didn't cash my check until March, but they did proceed to send me bills saying like, "Oh, you passed the time. Here's a fee upon a fee upon a fee." And I wrote back to them. I was like, "Hey, you guys, I sent you the check in October. You haven't sent me my tags for my car." They're like, "Well, we need proof of insurance." I was like, "Well, I was on my husband's, and now here's my new one." And so then they're like, "Oh, okay, well, you owe us $1 more." And I'm like, "Really?" I was like, "What?"
You want that dollar.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, they had a bunch of tickets for me for a car that was not mine up in a city I've never been to. And I'm like, "These tickets aren't me. I can prove the date and time because I was parked in front of my house." And so
Wow.
it was all this, and then I finally got my registration in yesterday, or my tag.
California.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Oh,
So
you
I
gotta love.
almost, I did get out of the shower and get that, so I almost opened that up naked, but I did not. Almost.
Well, no pictures. It didn't happen.
That's right.
How many pictures of that?
Mhm.
Oh man, get us back on track, Aaron. That's your job.
Star
Well,
Trek.
I also, the other thing, I thought there was some good dialogue. I mean, we already talked about this in this episode. There's a lot of nice lines in this and a lot of nice moments. When they're kind of in and out talking to Spock when he's inside the amoeba and he's, his voice is breaking up, or he says, tell Dr. McCoy I never would have survived it. And you want to bet. And there was a nice little moment there where Kirk, I mean, they're near this. They know that their lives are on the line, but Kirk gives just a little bit of a whimsical smile there. Like, he's still got a sense of humor, despite the fact we're all about to die. And, there was just some, tell Dr. McCoy he should have wished me luck.
Yeah.
And I just thought there was a lot of good moments and dialogue in this episode. So
yeah, a lot of times they try to force a time limit on things. Like I know it's the ticking clock, plot line. Make things more exciting and all that. But sometimes it can be annoying. Like Captain, there's a metallic object off the port side. It could be the shuttlecraft, and Kirk says throw a tractor beam on it, and then Scotty says, "Captain, we've only got 42 seconds. There's no time." Yeah, it's like, well, if you would just throw the tractor beam on, we'd have had it with 42 seconds to spare. But he's talking, and then Kirk doubles down and says, "Throw 2 tractor beams on."
I know. Well, that line bugged me, and I'll tell you why. Because the line should have been, "We don't have the power to do it." Right? It wasn't time. It was power. Their
Right.
energy levels are almost drained, and he's telling them to put a tractor beam on it. It's like, "Captain, we don't have the power." And he should have said, "Do it." And then he does it, and they go, "Oh, we're dead."
Right.
That would have been better, because the time really wasn't the.
But once the thing was
They didn't act
destroyed,
like they were so pressed for time. Like you said, it always bothered me. He's like, "Oh, I need time to go decide." It's like, no, make a snap judgment right now under pressure.
Yeah. But I don't know that. Yeah, it seemed, and some of that stuff was kind of obvious to me. I was like, why are they're not talking about the right thing here? They should be talking about their power levels, not their time. And then they should be more concerned. So, I mean, there were little things like that, but you can do that in every episode.
that's the kind of stuff you'd think, because they run by all the scientific stuff through DeForest research to tell them what is, what's real, what's not real, what's possible, what's not possible. And you'd think that something like that, would have, because they read the scripts.
Yeah.
That would have.
Well, here's one other one that really. Oh, go ahead.
John drinks Woodford for $1.99. What will it take for you all to continue into the next generation? More than $1.99.
I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, you're gonna watch that crap. Sorry, Anna. No
Oh
offense.
my goodness.
We'll see. We'll see. How many
Well,
seasons?
aren't we
is that?
doing? What are we doing next? Are we doing the animated series or the movies?
Well, we'll take a vote and see what you guys.
Yeah,
want.
we have to have access to. The thing is, how can we access the if I don't have them on DVD? How can I access the animated
Prime?
Prime?
Mm-hmm.
Is it on there? Oh, okay.
Well, you have to have Paramount Plus, but you can get that through Prime.
Okay. I'm not sure if I have Paramount. We used to have Paramount Plus. I'm not sure if we still do or not. I'll have to look.
It's $11. We can super chat it in.
Okay. All right. So
that's what we'll do. We'll say, hey, if you guys want us to do the animated series, you're gonna have to super chat more. We got to pay.
Let me ask you guys this, because there was another line of dialogue that every time I watch this episode, I don't understand it. I don't understand the logic, and maybe I'm missing something, right? So again, while Spock is in the shuttlecraft, he's inside the amoeba, and Chekhov turns to Captain Kirk and says, "Captain, he's reduced his life support systems to bare minimum." Okay. Right. And they're all worried, right? And then Kirk says to Spock through the intercom, he says, "Spock, save your energy for the shields." What has that got to do with him reducing his life support to the bare minimum? Do you remember that line?
Yeah, I
It
do.
confuses me to this date. I don't get the connection, because it sounds like he is saving his energy for the shields by reducing his life support to the bare minimum.
Right.
And then Kirk says, save your energy for the shields. He didn't say he increased his shield power. He said he reduced his life support. And then Spock goes, "We knew this would be a possibility, Captain." And I'm like,
maybe that line was supposed to be, maybe they edited it wrong. Maybe that was supposed to be before, like Kirk saying it.
It could have been.
And they just messed up on the editing because they were running out of money.
Right.
Could be.
Well, it's funny you say that, Anna, because the sequence I was complaining about where everybody's energy just got sapped, and there's a line out the door at Bones's, sick bay. That almost seemed like it would have been more appropriate later on when there was another hit and people were dropping like flies. Like maybe that was supposed to be later on, that it got edited into the wrong spot.
These issues would be very easily fixed with some editing to put them in the correct sequence, and it would make sense. I always thought that was what the problem was. And now hearing like they were canceled and were running out of money, I'm like, okay, that makes more sense.
It's very possible that they did get some of the, and they're always like on a deadline, right? We got to get this episode out the door, kind of thing. So,
John, I was just kidding about that. I appreciate everything, just watching the show. And of course, supporting all the books. I was just being facetious about, $1.99, meaning because basically Aaron and I don't really care for the next generation.
That's right.
It was just a bad joke. So I didn't want you to feel bad. So
we appreciate any contributions, John. So don't worry about it. And just because Graham's an a-hole doesn't mean you shouldn't feel bad.
If you agree with Aaron that I'm an a-hole, everybody super chat $1 to support Aaron to say that $1 agrees with him, $5 makes it so.
Nicholas Wilson has something. He said, "Anna, tell Graham to read my super chat."
Oh,
Nicholas Wilson.
Graham, read his super chat.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not see that, Nicholas. Nicholas Wilson for $2. Hail ending party back. Anna, that Star Wars girl. Oh, back Anna, the Star Wars girl eye project. Yay. Yeah, definitely.
Do it.
Thank you. Thank you.
If we have any mods in the chat, please put Anna's link in there if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, support this young lass.
Oh, thank you.
Bad Adam for $10. That's a good cigar, Bad Adam. Graham, here's $10, $10 towards watching the animated series. I just tuned in and I don't know what you're talking about, but Aaron is absolutely right. Thank you. That's great. Oh, and Rick 1662 says he agrees with Aaron. What are we agreeing with Aaron about, by the way?
Does it really matter?
Oh, we're agreeing that I'm an asshole or whatever the word was you used.
Yeah, I need $11.99 in super chats to pay for my Paramount subscription so I can watch the animated series.
Just
Well,
go
that's
binge it.
$11.99 right there. Bad Adam.
Yeah, for you.
1662.
On Aaron's
Now,
next
Aaron.
stream, go super chat him $11 so he can.
That's right. On my Sunday show, I'm gonna bring that up. Gonna go, dude. I need $11.99 to get Paramount Plus. Unless I already have it. We had it at one point, but I don't think we do anymore. I think we canceled it for lack of use, and now I need it again. Always works that way.
All right, guys, what do you think? Let's give this a rating.
Mm.
Anna.
Let's
Okay,
start with you, Aaron. Let's give Anna a moment to collect.
I'm gonna make her head explode.
Oh no.
10. I freaking love
Really?
this episode. It's
Even
right up there with
A
it's
10 is
right up there with
perfect.
Doomsday
Even with
Machine
those
for me.
edit flaws, you still
It's-
think it's a 10.
It's a 10. It's right up there with Doomsday Machine with me. I
Oh
go
my
back and
God.
forth between, depending on which week it is, which one I like the most.
Wow,
Yeah.
a 10.
Yep.
Hmm.
And I'm not afraid to say it.
Wow. All right. If you folks feel that Aaron is an idiot, please super chat $1 in agreement. Okay, Anna, you're up.
Maybe like a 5.
So it's average.
Yeah. I mean, I want to put it lower, but it's better than a lot of other episodes. So
Mhm.
Aaron, I just think it's boring.
Oh,
Okay.
You know,
All right,
like
so I'm going to go middle of the road then, because I give it a 7.
Okay.
Well,
I think
are we grading these on their merits, or are we grading them on how well we like them?
well, it's the both really.
I do
It's,
all. I
it's
do.
those things.
I do how
Yeah.
well I like it. It's rewatchability, like if I'll actually like watch it or skip
Right.
it, you
Mhm.
know, and then like other aspects of it.
Whenever I sit down and like, I got to watch Star Trek. I've got to watch Star Trek. What am I going to watch? I either watch this episode or Doomsday Machine constantly. So this is a 10 for me.
Was Doomsday was a 10 for you also, right?
Yes. Those are the only
Well,
two 10s I've given.
You didn't give
Although-
a 10 for Balance of Terror?
I gave it a 9.5, I think.
Where's our chart?
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
We'll go over the chart on the last episode. We're going to go over the chart, and,
I might,
and then we'll
I
do
was
an
thinking-
announcement about the all-time greatest one according to the landing party.
Can we go back and revise, because I may have only gave Balance of Terror a 9.5 at the time because I didn't want to give away 10s too easily,
Mm-hmm.
but I do love that episode. I think we should be able to go back and maybe regrade if we need to.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we could do a once over scan because when you start off early, you tend to grade higher.
So yeah, there you go. All right. I'm still giving this a 10. I freaking love this episode. I love it. Put two
Right.
tractor beams on it, Graham. This is an episode you want to put 2 tractor beams on.
That's right. What was cool in the revised or the enhanced version is that the sequence when they're in the protoplasm and it's all black.
Mhm.
There's no light other than the lights on the ship.
Yes,
there's
that
no
is cool.
ambient light coming from anywhere else or reflecting off of anything. It's just the lights on the ship, sort of like the Titanic sitting halfway in the water, with the lights on, in the dark sky and the dark water.
I remember when I watched it, I watched the one with the enhanced special effects too, and I was just going, that is so cool. Just the way they lit that, or yeah, I agree. But I don't know that the actual gummy fish amoeba was all that much better than the original. The original they did actually, you mentioned it in the captain's log, that looked really good. Even
it was. It really didn't need I guess the only thing what they did was if they had to redo it because they had to redo the Enterprise.
Oh yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah.
Mm.
But John Edgar gives this 3 tractor beams.
See, John, I don't know if that's good or bad though. Does he need 3 tractor beams to pull it across the finish line, or is it
pull the plot across the finish line? I guess. Oh man. Okay. Well, hopefully Ron will be back.
What did you give it?
I gave it a 7.
Oh, did I miss that?
So you're a 5 and I'm a 10. So that's what do we got? 17, 22 out of 3. That's an average a little over. It's like a 7.25.
Look at you and your math.
It's actually 7.517 because our statistician, the fiction method, said that's the standard deviation.
Well, I got a B in math, so I was close, but not quite.
You were pretty close enough for rock and roll, you know.
That's right.
I was really good at math until they started adding letters, and I remember I hated the imaginary number with the I, and I was like, do it yourself. I don't care.
I got past. I was good up to algebra 2, and then like trig and stuff. But then we got into beyond that, and I was just like my brain melted.
Well, you know,
Shelly's a math teacher and a physics teacher, and it's just like she's like, "Oh, this is Pythagoras theorem and blah blah blah." And I'm what?
I hated geometry because of the theorems. You know, the theorems. You know, so geometry is all logic, and it's like I've seen enough Star Trek to know this is not logic.
Yeah, no.
Makes no sense.
My high school geometry teacher, he was a retired plumber, and my parents were like, I got a note saying that I kept falling asleep in class. I'm like, you don't understand, guys. You have to go to this class. My parents went to like the parent teacher conference. All the parents, you could tell, were all like angry of their kids falling asleep. Every single one of them walked out like with the dead eyes, and they're like, we understand.
Yeah. Calculus, there it is. Yeah, calculus is what killed me my senior year. The last half of my senior year, I had senioritis, so I wasn't paying attention, but I had no idea what they were talking about anyway.
Yeah, I didn't even make it to calculus.
Me neither. I bowed out at, I got through trig, and
we didn't have trig.
You didn't have trigonometry?
That was part of a pre-cal. It's like at the end of pre-cal you take it, but I didn't make it there. I stopped at algebra 2, but I got put in advanced physics because I was good at science, but you have to have been in calculus to take advanced physics. So I was like,
math.
I'm like, I can't do the math, that I can explain to you what you have to do to get to this, to get the answer.
But I don't know how to do it on paper.
Nope.
There you go. The BS.
Well, that's why you're good with our stats fiction method.
Yeah.
Well, Ron had something else going tonight, so he couldn't make it, but hopefully he'll be back next week.
I feel like Ron would have given this a 10.
No, we'll find out next week, but I'm gonna guess Ron's gonna go with a 7.75.
No, I think he likes this. It's gonna be at least an 8. That's what I'm predicting.
Say it's safe to assume that Ron and I would disagree on this episode.
He's gonna go.
Probably loves it.
He's gonna go 8.5. I think. I do. This is a good one. Graham, I'm disappointed in you. I mean, Anna, I expect to be like sort of off the rails, but
I'm usually on the same as you.
That's true. You are.
That's right. You think like a girl too, Aaron.
That's why I can get my channel cleared up really quickly.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. You got to play that card.
I might. Hope it doesn't get me in trouble.
Man. All righty, guys. Well, thank you, Landing Party, and thank you, everybody in the chat. We will see you next week for, what is it, Aaron? A piece of the action.
Yeah.
And you got to tune in just to see Anna for that episode.
My reaction to it.
Oh,
I'll rewatch it, but
she's going to lose her mind on this one.
And there's going to be a quiz about the rules of Fizbin. So
that's right.
So bone up on that.
Uh-huh.
All right, gang. We'll see you next week. Bye now.